and we will get going. Kind of lost track of time, so I apologize about that. I guess I'm right on time. Still a little under the weather, but I'm feeling a lot better. I just sound bad, so bear with me on that. Welcome everybody to our rapid fire live Q&A. We've got some good videos coming out for you this week. We've got reasons my quail are not laying. That will be posted tomorrow. And then on Saturday, we will be posting simple ways for a bachelor pad. So hopefully that will help you on your journey with Coturnix quail. We are doing rapid fire, so I will not be reading all of the questions tonight. I won't be reading all the comments tonight. I will only be reading the questions. So if you have any questions, please put question marks or exclamation points at the beginning and or at the end so I can see a little bit better. And we will try to go as quickly as possible to get as many questions answered as possible as well. If you didn't hear it at the very beginning, I am a little under the weather. I feel okay, but I don't sound great, so bear with me on that. Verna Young is usually my moderator on here with Ed Got Bait, which he is on, but Verna's not feeling well either, so she will probably not be on here tonight, so hopefully she has a speedy recovery. Ed Got Bait is recovering as well, so I think it's just the weather right now. I think things are just going around. Like I said, we do have some good videos coming your way, so if either one of those topics sounds good and you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so and make sure you don't miss those. And we've got some really good stuff going on in all of the Facebook groups. Lately, we're really ramping up this year and going into next year with a big bang, and I've got some really big announcements coming your way, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. We're finishing and tweaking some things up, and once my big projects are completed and ready, then I can't wait to share them with you, so stay tuned for that. All right, I've wasted enough of your time just rambling on, so we'll get right into it. Welcome everybody that's here. We do a live Sunday as well. I read all the comments and we go through everything. Tonight is rapid fire only, so if I skip your comment, it is not personal. I appreciate you being here and thanks for showing up. I am only reading the comments though, so just keep that in mind. Let's see. Again, welcome everybody that's here. I'm actually trying to look for the questions. Let's see. Mad Cow Crazy's in the house. Green Mountain Gold Trap is in the house. Vermont Quail and Bluegrass Transport is in the house. S.O. Swanson is in the house, which is an admin for Quail Lifestyle on Facebook. It's a up-and-coming group. They're doing a fantastic job in there. Feathered Connections Homestead is in the house. They are an admin on Quail for Profit, and they are making huge strides in the Facebook group Quail for Profit, and I'm very proud of that. Let's see. Obviously, Ed Got Bait is in the house. Welcome. Christopher K's in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Vermont Quail says, Mr. Zach, how are you doing? Still sick? I feel okay. Don't sound great, but I'm getting there. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We're only going live on Tuesdays just for rapid fire Q&A. So if we don't have any questions, that's completely okay. I get it. It is a holiday weekend. So if I don't hear from you or we don't have a lot of questions tonight, make sure you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope everything goes well. And obviously we will be back next week as well, and we've got some good videos coming your way. But if you do have any questions, feel free to ask now, and we will be happy to get you taken care of. AJ is in the house. Welcome. Katrina is in the house, also an admin of a couple different groups actually, and doing amazing job in those groups as well. Whiskey Tango Farms is in the house. Welcome. We're glad you're here. Also, admins, I forgot the word for a second, admins of a couple different groups on Facebook as well, Quail for Profit and Self-Sufficient Quail, doing a great job on there. Katrina says, "Are you feeling better?" I'm doing okay. I'm here. I've got my energy back, so I can't complain. Better be safe than sorry, S.O. Swanson. Feather Connection says, "Watching your Quail for Profit video playlist again. What was your favorite subject to talk about with that?" I guess it's kind of simple, whatever the case may be, but I really do think that if you have a firm grasp of where you're going and what you're planning on doing and your whole purpose, I really do think that that sets the tone for everything else. So like the rules that we live by and things like that, I think was the most important. It's not giving you the bread and butter of how to sell or what to sell or where to sell. But that's kind of secondary. Once you get a game plan together, then you're off to the races. What concerns me is people not having a game plan on paper on purpose, but want to act like they're in business. That's not the case. Anybody can sell a few eggs. But until you have a full game plan, you know what your mission is, you know what your plan is, and you're striving for that daily on paper, on purpose, well, now you're going somewhere. So that was probably my favorite part. Let's see. Lost my spot. Not a lot of questions tonight, which is fine. That's okay. Hong Kak's in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Adrian is in the house. Welcome. Katrina says, feed prices just went up again. Do you have any insight into the nationwide, like what to expect over the next quarter? I know you keep up on those things. Yeah, the word is so everywhere either just went up or is going up within the next week or two. And that is supposed to be it until at least the end of first quarter. It does not look like prices are coming down, ever, is what it sounds like. But, no one really knows much. But yeah, there was another small increase. I think it was last Thursday, maybe? I can't remember. But within the past week, there was a small increase in feed again for most places. And if you haven't gotten it, most likely you are going to get it shortly, definitely before the end of the year. And then that's supposed to stay, and they're supposed to reevaluate quarterly, not just randomly. So they are trying to get on a game plan, but there's so many variables in that, it's hard to say. Crystal's in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Perry Quail Farm says, evening, y'all. Question, any of y'all trim your quail's nails? Mine seem a bit long. Had to trim my first beak the other day. Feller's beak got long. I have never done either one of those. Yeah, I have no experience with that at all. I've never done either one. Sorry. Christopher K says, do you guys sell processed quail or just live birds? Just live birds. We haven't sold processed quail in probably 6 years, 7 years maybe. I can't remember. It was the bane of my existence. I've tried to say in the Quail for Profit playlist and things like that, like there needs to be a pie and there needs to be slices of all kinds of different avenues you can sell your quail at. And we've got our plan and how many we need and this, that, and the other. And butchering quail to sell was the worst for me. I hated it. It was not fun for me at all. So as soon as I found another market that I could replace that piece of the pie with, I was very happy to do so. So yeah, no, the only ones we process are either for QuailCon or for us, which is wonderful. It's a great way to start. It's a great way to start. And if you enjoy it or if you have patience for it or whatever the case may be, it's a good way to make one of those, pieces of the pie. We did it for years and years. I mean, we did it for 4 or 5 years. But I was very happy to stop. And it was probably because we had been doing it like literally bi-weekly or monthly for 4 or 5 years straight that I was just like, I'm done for a while. Good question. Miss says, make sure you like the video. Absolutely. Hit the like button, support the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Adrian says, I was watching the videos about colors and I have 2 colors that I don't know how I got them. White with a touch of gray and white with a touch of gold. Is this bad? I heard something about albino. Albino would not have a hint of gold or gray in it. Albino would be completely white. So not to worry about that. Albino's not really bad, but with that being said, most albino usually fail to thrive. They're usually very, very small, very, very weak, things like that. So, but albino's usually not. You don't get that very often. It's pretty rare. Any albino that we get here, we've called for years and years and years. Used to in the SSCs, you would get maybe 6 to 10 albinos out of every 100, and we aggressively called for years and years and years, and you very rarely get it at all. But yeah, I would say you don't have either one of those, or I would say either one of those is not albino. Skippy's in the house. Welcome, glad you're here. Adrian. Oh, genes being bad. Yeah, no. I wouldn't worry about that at all. You would know if you've got the albino. They'll be like a quarter of the size of everybody else. Usually they're blind. They're usually very, very weak, not very active. Like you would know. Daniel says, what organs should be given to pets and not discarded? Heart, liver, lungs. They like them all. They're not picky. I mean, I guess it depends on what pet, but yeah, our dogs like it all. Karen says, evening, hope you get to feeling better. I am sick too, using a lot of Vicks. There you go. Yeah, I told Jenna yesterday, yeah, it was yesterday, about midday. I was like, I know I still sound awful, but I'm just happy that I'm feeling better. And it worked out because I guess there was some miscommunication. I thought that George had winterized the waters outside. He did not. He did one, but we have like 1, 2, 3, 4. So anyways, I said, okay, well, we got to work on that. And he's like, well, it's supposed to be 50s all week, so I'll get to it later on this week. And I said, okay. And then I went out there and just looked, and yeah, all the waters were completely frozen. So I said, yeah, let's do it today. So we dumped the waters, and we got a sledgehammer, and we got all the ice out, and we filled up the buckets, and we put the heaters in there, and we took the hoses off, and we did all that. And then I look over, and I said, oh, man, that pig is pregnant and about to pop. So then we moved the pig up to the stalls, the horse stalls, and made a little nest for it, and had babies that night, actually. And she had, dear God, she had 9 of them. 7 of them are still going, and she's a trooper. She's hanging in there. So we just had baby pigs born last night, but they're doing great. 2 of them were not going to make it, so we had to take care of that. But she still had a massive, she still had a lot of babies. Sorry, I'm trying to read and talk at the same time. She still had a lot of babies for her first time being pregnant, so we were pretty impressed with that. Holland says, don't forget the like button. Absolutely. Katrina says, $25.50 for a 50-pound bag of 27% turkey starter. Yeah, I think that's going to be the norm going forward. I don't think it's going to go up much more than that for this foreseeable future, but I do think it's going to, I think that's the norm now, unfortunately. But we'll see. We'll see. We just got a $5 donation from Freddie York. Thanks for all the free info. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. And thank you. We'll put that to good use. Here's another quick story, just real quick. Dennis called and said that he wanted to take 2 of his bulls Um, I don't know where he's taking them, selling them, butchering them. I don't know what he's doing with them. Anyways, he wanted to use my truck, and I said, fine. He's like, well, can you help me? And I said, yeah. And he was like, what time? And I said, you tell me. He said, how about 5? And I said, okay. So I got over there at 5, and me and Papa the Builder and George were all out there, and my kids and Jenna came out a little bit later. But within 28 minutes, we took my hitch off, put the new hitch on to fit the horse trailer, backed up the horse trailer into the field, backed it around to the corral, got 2 bulls in the corral, got them in the trailer, and brought the trailer and truck out of the field within 28 minutes. We're like legit cow farmers, guys. Like, that was very impressive. We were high-fiving, and we were like, how did that happen? So I'm pretty sure it was all luck. So hopefully we don't have to do that again anytime soon, but I was pretty happy that it didn't go miserable, because usually it does. Linda Easton Waller donated $10 to the channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and thanks for being here. Okay, we're going to get back to the rapid fire questions. I got way sidetracked. I'm very sorry. Ask your questions. I'm going to go fast, not waste your time. I don't even know what I was doing. I'm so sorry. Okay, here we go. Witchwood Homestead and Kennel says, good evening, Zach. Munching venison and noodles, going to just relax and listen. Well, welcome. We're glad to hear. Whiskey Tango Farms has been a hot minute since I asked him. Maybe it has changed. LO was your favorite variety right now. I don't know how to answer that right now. I've got a new color coming out in January that's going to be my favorite color. But we are replacing all of our breeders for next year and getting ready for next year. And I'm very, very impressed with the Tibetan and Rosetta tuxedos. They are really impressing me with this new generation of laying eggs, their size, the size of the eggs. I mean, I am very impressed with those. And then I'm very impressed with the jumbo whites too. So this is not the best time to ask me, just because I'm replacing all the breeders. So I'm doing all the research for next year's numbers and all this. And so that tends to stick in with me rather than just a color or favorite or whatever. Ann's in the house. Welcome. Glad you're here. Feather Connections Homestead says amen to the answer on having a game plan. That's why I'm listening again and decided what I want to improve for next year. There you go. Well, best of luck. And it sounds like you're going to do great. I mean, you already are blowing it up just in the past couple of weeks with Hatching at Home program, which if you don't know about, we did a video on, well, Linda was kind enough to do a video and I just posted it. What was it, about a week and a half ago, about her Hatching at Home class. If you don't know what that is, please check that out. Linda, if you're still on, if you could maybe put a link to your website on there, I would greatly appreciate it. But if you're interested in Quail for Profit, I highly recommend you look into that class. It was very, very cool. Jenna and I, my wife and I, both took the class, and we actually learned things. And we've been in business for 12 plus years with Coturnix Quail, and we took things away that we could do differently. Kelly, Feather Connections Homestead, started the business after she took the class, and she is blowing it up. So it's really cool. She's sharing her journey on the Quail for Profit Facebook group weekly. So make sure you check that out, and you can watch her progress. I'm really excited about it. Daniel's in the house. Thanks. The reason I asked was no one ever says what happens to the crop or lungs. I think we throw the crop away, but I don't know if we have to. The lungs the dogs eat. Yeah. Honkax is not talking to me. Feather Connection says, Zach, did you end up doing an aviary in 2022? I remember hearing you mention it a while back, but can't remember doing an aviary. We redid our aviary, yes, but it has, well, because of avian influenza, we put all of the other animals in there, so there's nothing on the property that's actually free range right now, which is the first time ever. So we've got our ducks, geese, chickens, and peacock all in the aviary plus the chicken coop. Um, so that's what I mean. I'm glad we redid it because we needed a place for them all. Yeah. Jen D says, is it normal for the second generation of quail egg to be bronze with dark bronze spots, unlike their parents? That's not abnormal. The eggs are fine. It's not a big deal. Most likely, the ones you hatch out from that will not. They'll be normal, regular eggs. It's not a big deal at all. Was the missing piece of pie for processed quail balut? LOL. It was not actually. It was actually aviary. It was actually falconers. It took me about 3 years to get into the reptile world to be able to start selling some of substance. And then the reptile world actually took me to the falconry world, and now the falconry world takes pretty much all of my males. So I don't have to process it all. So that was pretty much what took my of that piece, that part of the pie. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. Diana says the quail that get picked on and are too bad to keep with flock, are they safe to eat, or do they have anything like blood poisoning? No, they're safe to eat. Might be a little gross at first, looking at it and killing it, but yeah, I mean they'll look fine butchered, and yeah, they're fine. AJ says, what are the colors I will get from the feather sexable mix? Would it be the ones listed in the description on the website, or is it just chance? It would be what was described. So there's golds, autumn ambers, fab fee, Egyptians, wilds, Egyptian fee, pansy fee. In fact, I think the only feather sexable I did not put in there was the sparkly, and that's because they're really hard to feather sex sometimes. So I decided not to put that one in there. But other than that, yeah, I mean, you should be getting a mix of all of them. Congrats on the piggies. That was unplanned. It's a little cold outside that we didn't want that to happen, but they must have snuck away somewhere. But it is what it is. They're all safe and happy, and they'll be in the garage for the next probably 4, 5, 6 weeks. It's not the end of the world. Linda says, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Absolutely. Bacon seeds, yep. Is there a certain license you have to have a quail farm? No. It all depends on what you're doing and how you're doing it. If you're selling to restaurants or farmers markets or anything like that, you need a small egg producer's license in most states, but every state is completely different. For farmers markets, almost everywhere you need, insurance, business insurance, and then that's pretty much it. I think there's one state that might require a license for quail, but that's still not been confirmed to me, so maybe not. And then if you just ship or sell across state lines, you just need to be NPIP. But every state is completely different on their requirements. Mad Cow Crazy says, if you have free roaming quail, what would you recommend to give them to make nests? Just give them hay or give them some shelters as well to build nests in. I would recommend shelters, and hay would be fine. Yeah, shelters and hay would be just fine. I would probably do both, though. Again, Linda Easton Waller donated $10 to the channel, so thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Linda, hopefully you got my email earlier this week. I hope. Meant to do that earlier, but hopefully you got it now. Misty says, do you need the egg license for selling quail eggs? I'm only finding info for chicken eggs. Yeah, if you're just gonna sell from your farm to individuals, then no. If you're gonna sell to restaurants, farmers markets, grocery stores, anything like that, then yes, you do need a small egg producer's license. But again, every state is a little bit different, so I would look into their requirements. Mackenzie Ross says, is any amount of bullying acceptable? They're not causing wounds, but they're chasing and pulling some feathers. Yeah, I mean, that's not the end of the world if kind of there's no harm, there's no foul kind of thing, you know. I would recommend making sure that you've got 3 quail per square foot, but more importantly, I would make sure you got 5 hens to every 1 male, because if you have 1 male to every 3 hens or something like that, then that would be completely the reason for the chasing and things like that. The males need about 5 hens to not be aggressive. Kevin's in the house. Kevin Workman, welcome. How often do you switch out breeders and roos? We switch our roos out twice a year, so once every 6 months. We switch our breeders out once a year. We've tried a couple different things. What works best for us is just a massive overhaul, October, November, December, and the very beginning of January if we're running a little behind. So that's pretty much what we do during the slow season, is replace everything in the barn, males and females. It's a lot of juggling because we don't get rid of the old breeders until we confirm that the new breeders are what we want and they're laying and this, that, and the other. So we're moving things around all the time. It's a lot, but that just seems to work best for us than trying to keep a schedule on all year, because you know anything can happen. Marianne says, I have jumbos. What size cage wire do you recommend to keep the cage's floor clean from the abundance of poo? Also, what wire size for the rest of the cage to keep predators from hurting my babies? I would recommend, I don't think there's anything wrong with 1/4 inch on the sides or on the top. I think that's completely fine. I would recommend 1/2 inch. I'm so sorry. Yes. On the bottoms, I would do 1/2 by 1 inch. We did that in our cages this past year, and man, it's amazing. It's really, really nice. You could do 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. That's what we did for, I mean, up until this year. And it worked fine, but then we increased the size of the flooring a little bit, and they seem to be doing fine, and a lot less poop buildup in there, and a lot easier to clean. Sage Wolf is in the house. Welcome, glad you're here. Kevin says, do I need to bring my incubator inside, or would it be okay to just wrap a towel around it in this weather? That's a very, very good question. I guess it really depends on where you're at or where it's at. You know, if it's in a barn or in a garage or something like that, if it's out of, you know, heavy wind or anything like that, yeah, I would say wrapping it and insulating it, maybe even putting some styrofoam around it, would work fine. I wouldn't say you would need to bring it in the house. However, if you're going to keep the brooder in the house for the first week or two, which you wouldn't have to either, as long as you're well insulated and have heat, I would put it wherever your brooder is going to be, is what I would do. That's a very good question. Drew Patterson says, for someone who keeps 3 males and 12 females altogether and hatches these for future generations, how concerned should I be about inbreeding? Should I separate them into groups and spiral breed? Spiral breed is really not a thing in Caternix quail. I mean, you can. It's not really necessary at all. I think you're fine. About every 3rd generation, I would maybe separate in cages with separate males. And then put those together, and then every 3 generations switch with the different males. I think you're fine. If you've got 3 different males, typically you want to replace your breeder. You want to add new blood or do something different once every about 3 years is what you want to do. But with you having multiple males in that cage, I don't think you're going to have an issue for a long time. I wouldn't worry about it at all. And usually there's about a 2 generation warning sign. You'll start seeing some signs of possible inbreeding before it gets bad, like a few generations beforehand. So if you start seeing a lot of death in shells, a lot of weak chicks, a lot of deformities, you know, let's say you hatch out 40 eggs and 10 of them are like that, get some new blood in. If you get 1 or 2 like that, that's usually the warning sign. Like it's coming, it's just not there yet. You know what I mean? Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. Mad Cow says, I've been trying to find a cage making tool. It's like a clipper that attaches small metal tubes around the wire. Does the tool have a name? I have no idea what to Google to find it. It does. Oh, crap. J-clip. It's a J-clip. That's what it's called. I always have a hard time remembering that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Are you feeling better? I'm feeling better. I sound awful, but I'm feeling better. S.O. Swanson says J-clip pliers. Yep. JF says, have you ever seen a quail aviary in a raised bed before? I wanted to build one, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. I have actually seen that. I've never experienced it. It's just a customer sent that to me one time. It worked for them. I don't know a lot about it, but it looked really cool. I mean, it looked really cool, and I think they had been in there for, I don't know, a couple of months at least, and they swore by it. So, Whiskey Tango Farm says, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Absolutely, thank you very much for the support. Martha says, to sell meat, would you need some sort of food license depending on your state requirements? I would think. Yeah, it completely depends on your state requirements. For example, Ohio, you need to be FDA approved if you're going to sell to restaurants or grocery stores, but for farm pickups, I didn't need anything at all. But every state is different. AJ says, the reason I ask is because in the video linked in the description, you only showed a few. Some in the description was not shown, probably because the new colors came out after. That is correct. Oh, yeah, that's correct. You mean in the video. I think in the description on the website, that's updated. I thought you meant the description in the website, not the video. I'm sorry. Christopher K says, what do you mean when you say breeders' males? Breeders. Oh, probably when I was replacing them. So I replace my hens once a year, and then I replace my males twice a year. The males are very active, so that's why they need like 5 hens to every 1 male. Yeah, I said that correctly. 5 hens to every 1 male because the males are very active. However, they like go, 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 and then they just start decreasing immediately. Whereas the hens, you know, they're more of a steady pace kind of thing. So we replace our breeders, our hens, once a year, and our males twice a year. Texas Top Shelf Reptile says, hello everyone, 41 more eggs in the incubator today. Congratulations, have to bump that quail count up. You think 1 brood of 5 females in an aviary is fine? Yeah, I think that's completely fine. I think Jasmine's not here tonight, so you might want to check with her. She is an admin on the Self-Sufficient Quail Facebook group. She has an aviary setting. Oh, Katrina has an aviary setting as well. So Katrina, well, she already said that's what she does. So there you go. And then actually, Texas Top Shelf Reptile, Katrina has a YouTube channel called Sow and Tear, and she does a lot of videos about her aviary. She's had a lot of success with them going broody and hatching their own quail and things like that. So you could check out her YouTube channel as well for some aviary ideas. But yeah, that's what she says is 5 to 1 as well. I think Jasmine, I think she does a little less, but I could be wrong. And she might have changed that by the last time I talked to her about it. Miss Kitty says, Zach, glad you are back. How do you feel quail or parts? How do you feed quail or parts to dogs, and what do you feed them? We throw them at them. Usually we just are like, here, and they are happy to leave us alone and just eat out there. Yeah, we don't do it all the time, and we don't butcher that often. And since we only butcher for us, we don't butcher that many at a time anymore. So yeah, they just get them right then. Nothing special. For QuailCon, most of the insides go to the pigs because then we're butchering literally hundreds at a time. So, Whiskey Tango Farm says, so have you ever needed to replace parts on your GQF cabinet, incubator, and hatchers? What part and how often? Lots of fixing going on with our hatching time lately. No, I've never replaced, no. In fact, so George had, which we use now, an older GQF, and then we have 2 GQFs. And he's had his for 6 years, and I think we've had ours for 3. And we hatch a lot of quail, guys. A lot. And we've never had to replace anything in the GQFs, except for those, moisture wick things for the humidity. Other than that, that's the only thing I've ever bought for the GQFs. We're actually doing a different cabinet incubator review, and I'm actually pretty impressed with it so far. I've actually got a short, what's it called on you? Oh, short. I've got a short coming out later on this week, showing you a preview of the incubator that we're reviewing right now. The eggs are in the incubator, so that'll be interesting to see as well. Nishra Ram is in the house. Welcome, glad you're here. Lost my spot. I'm so sorry, everyone. Johan Rivera says, hey bud, thanks for the advice last week. I hope everything goes well with the reset I did. They are now getting 16, not 24 hours. Should I wait up to 2 weeks for the reset to go into effect? I mean, it could take up to 2 weeks. I don't think it should. I would more like to know an update in about a week. And make sure you're using the electrolytes at least twice a week in the water. And I would say that if they're not up and running by next week, let me know, and we'll try to do one more thing to help them get started. Or started to get. Christopher Kate said, should I leave feed out all day for the quail to eat, or should I? All day. All day, every day. Yeah, they should always, like, our quail have enough feed for 2 days, and we replace every day, so that there's never an issue, because when they run out, man, they get angry. Boss says hatched out 182 baby fluff nuggets on this hatch. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's a lot. Joseph says, hey, quick question. What do you recommend when it comes to overall best feed for Coturnix? I actually have a video about that. If you type in the YouTube search bar, feed by Myshire Farm, it'll show exactly what we feed. We customize our layer feed. A lot of people have taken that video, taken that to their local feed store, and made their own just like that. You could even, because we show you a tag of what it is, the ingredients, the percentages, all that. You could even take a picture of that to, Tractor Supply or whatever, and just match it up the best you can. But I would check that video out, because there's a lot of just small things that you might want to know and things like that. AJ says, it also helps place the incubator on a towel or quilt to help keep it off a cold surface. That's also a good idea. Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. The hoverbaiter with fan is in the works as well, yes. But that's not the one that I was talking about. We're doing 2 of them. Yeah, we'll see how either one of them goes. Martha says, any ideas on how to prevent foxes, etc. in the Northeast when trying quail tractor? Maybe stack large rocks around the tractor each move. I think you're gonna have to. I think it's just gonna be try and fix until you got the right system down. Yeah, we've got coyotes around here, and when we used a quail tractor, I think what we did was we actually had. I don't think it was a rock. I forget what it was. It was some sort of weight, and we just put the weight right on top of it. Uh, so that it wouldn't tip or anything like that. But yeah, I don't have a lot of advice on that. I haven't done a quail tractor in a long time. I'm sorry. Jastrick says, hello from South Carolina. I got here late, but I got here as soon as I saw the notification. Well, thanks for showing up. I appreciate that. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Bob with the Boss says, I bought an older GQF and had to replace the door seals and the fan. There you go. If it was used, that maybe would make sense. But no, I haven't had to replace anything on ours. Miss Kitty says, thanks, Zach. All the quail feathers and sides. If you're talking about what we feed, yes, we don't feed the feathers though. If that's what you're asking. I'm sorry. Justin Mill says, good evening, everyone. Just stopped to fill up the truck so I could type, then home to the chores. Absolutely. Long day for you as well. I hear it. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate it. Patty says, what's this about electrolytes? Is there a brand that you recommend? You can. So I only recommend using electrolytes when there's a change in their cycle. So right before they start laying eggs, during molting, during the changing of the seasons, after you move them from like brooder to cage or from inside to outside, or any type of time you're gonna stress them out, even though you don't mean to, it just anything stresses them out. I would give them electrolytes twice a week for about 2 weeks, and that helps them just stay calm and keep producing at a high level. And I like the Save a Chick. You can get that at Tractor Supply, or you can get it on Amazon, and that's what we've used for a long time. But Murray McMurray actually makes their own on their website, which is kind of cool too. And we've tried it before, and it's just as good. I don't know what the price difference is, but yeah, you could check either one of those. I would like to place an order for some of your jumbo mix and the mixed colors. Would I be able to place an order today and have them all shipped together? What is your shipping looking like as far as time frame? Well, this week is crazy because it's Thanksgiving and post office is closed and holiday and all that. But I think I've got a week and a half to 2 weeks left on Jumbo Wilds. Everything else in the barn except for Golds are a week behind. Fab fees are 2.5 weeks behind. Everything else is like shipping within a week. But you can't order jumbo mixes until January. They are off the website, and I'm putting all of our jumbos in for us for next year. New breeders, increasing size, increasing numbers, and all that, so that we are better prepared for next year. So yeah. But if you would order the mix today, they would ship next week. I think that was your question. Jesse Mill says, I will text you with a hatch total tomorrow. Zach, haven't made it home to check for babies today. Not a problem. I will be here. And good luck. I hope you can get a good hatch. Christopher K says, what kind of treats can the quail have? Pretty much anything. They're not picky. They love cucumber, apple, anything really from any garden. They love it all, except you cannot give them citrus. No citrus. But other than that, everything, they'll eat anything. Joy's in the house from Oregon. Welcome, glad you're here. Sundial Fragrances in the house. Hello, patiently waiting for my jumbo order. It appears it will show up Friday due to the holiday. Hope all will be okay. Yeah, if you already went out, then if you went out yesterday, they were laid yesterday. It's not a big deal. If you got tracking number and it doesn't show that they've shipped yet, they're going out Friday. Um, I think I only shipped like 4 orders yesterday, um, but the rest will go out after the holiday. Jeff says hope you get to feeling better soon. Thank you very much. I don't know why that was so hard for me to read, but I got it. Thank you. I actually feel pretty good. I sound awful. I'm a little sore, but man, I'm telling you, I feel a whole heck of a lot better than what I did earlier last week or late last week. And thank you. Ron Darrell Adventure says electric fence works well around Quail tractor. Oh, that's a good idea. There you go. That's a good idea. I like it. Thank you. Nishirama says, Zach, I'm changing the bottom of my cages all to 1/2 inch by 1 inch as you did on one of your videos. I have a big mess with 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. Next week all should be done, I hope. Also, happy Thanksgiving. You as well. And yeah, I hope I said that correctly earlier. My brain is still not 100% back. But yeah, we switched all of our cages to 1/2 inch by 1 inch, and I wish we would have done this from the beginning. But yeah, it works amazing. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there and to you as well, Nishirama. Hope everybody has a great time. I will be with my family Thursday, and then I will be going out, and I am a Black Friday shopper. I don't actually shop for Christmas. I am very cheap, so I have a list in my notebook of things that we need for next year, and that is when I go out and buy everything, like saw blades and screws and batteries and markers and tape and, you know, just random supplies and things like that. That's how cheap I am. So that's what I do. But our washer is going out, and we've had water issues all year with our cistern and our wells and all like that. So I think we're actually going to buy a washer. I don't think our washer will make it till next year. So this would be the best time to buy one. And, you know, George said he looked it up. I didn't look at the numbers, but he said that our washer uses like 20 gallons per load or something like that. And the new efficient washers are like 6 gallons a load, and it's like double the load or whatever. So that actually should save me money in the long run. So, yeah, Friday I will be shopping in the morning and then in the barn all night, since I'll probably be gone most of the day on Friday. So Friday will be a long day, but usually I feel very good about it because I saved a lot of money by waiting this long to buy stuff. So we'll see how it goes. Sundial Fragrance says, feel better and have a great Thanksgiving, Zach, and thank you for everything you do for us. Well, thank you very much for being here and being a part of the community. And I really do mean that. I really do thank you for being a part of this community, and I consider it an honor to be able to do this for you. Justin Mill says, not talking to me. Also, I'm using electrolytes in their water. The one you recommend from Save a Chick. Also, you recommend adding a poultry probiotic. I wouldn't want to do that until at least next week. That's the right standpoint, and if they're not done by next week, then yes, we would want to use like a rooster booster in the feed. Again, 2 days a week, preferably opposite of the electrolytes in the water. But I'd rather not use that unless we have to. But yeah, you are completely on the right track. Joy says, hope you're feeling better tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Bob with Boss says, if I'm breeding for mainly eggs to sell and some meat, would you breed jumbos or standard? Mainly eggs to sell and some meat. I think that it would be very beneficial and behoove you to have a cage of jumbos and a cage of mixes. I think it's a lot of people's mistakes on trying to sell individual colors. I don't think that's something people should do starting out. I think it's very, very difficult to keep everything right and together and understanding and all that stuff. A lot of people make that mistake. I think that's something that you lead up to. But starting out with a small business, I would do a cage of jumbos, a cage of mixes, You know, the mixes will easily sell themselves, and live birds and chicks and all that jazz. And then, you know, the standards are you know, easy balutes and this, that, and the other. And then the jumbos are eating eggs or hatching eggs, or, you know, you can sell them for two different prices for eating eggs. You have the jumbos for one price, standard for another. Hatch out the standards and sell as chicks. People love, you know, different colored chicks, things like that. So I would do a mix. I would do a cage of both, and then as you grow, you can start separating the colors if you'd like. But to be honest with you, most people don't really care. Like um, if they want fun colors, then they just want a bunch of fun colors. Like they don't really care for the majority. You'll get some people that are all about, you know, crazy color fanatic things, and that's fine. But again, that's that big of this big of a market. So I just remember that you're, as a quail business, right? As someone starting out, you're looking for the big picture and the overall amount of what people are looking for, and not this minute little section. So just keep that in mind. Whiskey Tango Farm says no nightshades for quail either. There you go. Katrina says nightshade fruits are okay, just not the leaves. There you go. Nightshade is the plant. Greenery from tomato, potato, and eggplant. There you go. Linda says thumb number 46. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. We're at 47, so that's pretty cool. Thank you very much for everybody that hit the like button. I appreciate that. Nishirama says thank you and happy Thanksgiving to all. Absolutely, thank you. And happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Sage Wolf says for the 1/2 inch by 1 inch wire, what gauge size do you recommend? That is a great question. I think we went with 18. Could have been 16. I'm pretty sure we went with 18 and we're happy with it. Pretty sure. And yeah, if you could do a 1/2 inch by 1 inch with plastic coated, that would be your set. You are set. That is the ultimate of the ultimate. AJ says happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Absolutely, you as well. Patty says smart man looking for bargains. Yeah, if I can save a little bit, it pays off. With how many saw blades we go through, and how many screws, and how many batteries, and that stuff adds up. I'm still going to be spending a small fortune on Black Friday, but I'll be saving quite a bit, and we're going to use it throughout the year. So, but yeah, that's kind of what we do. I think this will be my 15th year, maybe? No. 18th year. Yes. This is my 18th year going out on Black Friday. Last year was the worst. So hopefully I make up for it this year. Katrina says, I went out on Black Friday on accident once, got all the way to the store, turned around and went home. Not for me. There you go. Yeah, I have a game plan. That's Thursday morning. Usually I wake up in the morning, I'm out the door, I'm in that quail barn. Thursday morning I actually wake up an hour early, I go to the gas station, I pick up my paper, I get a coffee, I come home, I sit at the kitchen counter, I get all my papers lined up, go through it once, keep the ones that I'm interested in, go take care of my stuff, and then when I go to my family's, me and my mom go through it all, and then by the time I leave at night, I've got a map of where I'm going, what time I need to be there. I'm all about it, which, usually is not the end of the world unless we need something big. A couple of years ago, my TV went out, and so we didn't have a TV for like 4 months until Black Friday, and that was a time that was very crucial that I had to be where I needed to be at that exact time, because TVs go fast. But the stuff I get, usually no one's fighting over, like, saw blades and batteries and screws and stuff like that. Susie said, let's see. Agabe says, I order online for Black Friday. I hear you. And Jenna says that that's a smart move, but I still like it, you know? I still like it. And I'm afraid that the brick and mortar stores are going to go away if we keep doing that. So, yeah. I mean, I don't really shop any other time of the year, so that's my only day. It's my shopping day. I get one a year. Susie says, just want to say thank you. I love the quail we got from you. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad you're happy, and Thanksgiving to you. And I wish you guys all the best, and hopefully you have a great Thanksgiving. Whiskey Tango Farm says, I got wrangled into working Black Friday and all weekend. Send coffee, lots of it. There you go. Patty says, why would you prefer not to use a rooster booster? You can. With what he's doing, putting all that, we switch the lights and then we switch back the lights and we're using electrolytes. I'd rather use the rooster booster a little bit later instead of introducing all of them at one time. Christopher K says, how long did it take you guys to be self-sufficient with quail? Well, that is a great question. Took us about a year and a half for the quail to start paying for themselves, but we were increasing throughout the year. Then it took about another year and a half for the quail to start paying for the other farm animals. So 3 years. But that was having the quail pay for the pigs and the goats and the cows and the horse and the, whatever other animals we've got. Who knows? We've got so many. But as far as quail for profit goes, it took us 8 years. That doesn't, 6 years. It took us 6 years to be profitable, like to actually start being able to pay ourselves. It was paying for the quail were paying for their feed and their stuff, and then we were having them pay for the chicken feed and the pig feed and this, that, and the other. But it took us 6 years for us to be able to start taking some money out. And then another 2 years before I quit my job. So it takes a long time if you're going to do it right. Bob with Bob says, we'll be boiling 200 quail eggs for deviled quail eggs for Thanksgiving. Very cool. Congratulations. I actually got in trouble because I think I was supposed to supply quail eggs for deviled eggs, and I sold them all. And so they can't have any. So guess we're not going to do that. Well, Jenna kept one because it's her favorite. But we still sold 12, and then Jenna bought another. So we have 4 Great Danes living in my house at all times now. But the pigs were born, and we're not bottle feeding in the house. So I'll take 4 Great Danes any day of the week. Sage Wolf says, I worked at Sears and Black Friday was a crazy time when people everywhere. It's not so much anymore. It's definitely died down and slowed down quite a bit. Yeah, I remember back in the day, it was nuts. Like fights break out and all kinds of stuff. Steven says, how many weeks are you able to tell the difference between standard and jumbos when hatched at the same time? Usually around 3 weeks. Usually the jumbos start sprouting up quite a bit more at about 3 weeks old. I am a fast walker, is what I am. I don't like to mess around, though. And I don't like going to big stores. I don't like going to Walmart. I do hit up Target, but that's usually later, like the last stop I make. I like hitting the small places. Um, I don't hit any of those big Goliath stores. Those places are just not for me at all. But like there's a Ollie's. It's just a small little. They've got like 3 locations. I think it's localized to here, maybe not. I don't know. But I wear overalls in the barn, and they have a sale every year. And for like $30, I get nice, what is it, Carhartt or whatever it's called, overalls for like $35 that last me all year. So I go there, and then yeah. So yeah, I don't go into any of the big places. Katrina says, Best Buy matches prices for a certain time period. Like I bought a refrigerator, and they said I could call and get a partial refund if it went on sale on Black Friday. Lots of places do it. I'm sure it's, yeah. I haven't had the time to look though, so I'll have to get that this weekend. But yeah, I mean, I do know a lot of places that do that, especially like within 30 days of Black Friday. Usually they'll be like, even at the counter, they'll be like, hey, this goes on sale an extra, so I'll just give that to you now so you don't come back. Like I've had that happen before, but I just haven't had the time between being sick and all these birds hatching and being moved and weighed and researched and studied and written down. I haven't had time to do anything. Um, AJ says, can I keep my feather sexual mixed together in the same cage while I get random colored chicks from the eggs? I like the idea of being surprised every time. You can. They will all still be feather sexual, but random colors. So that's always a lot of fun. So yeah, that's completely fine. Mad Cow says it has. As someone in Finland, I find it really strange how you Americans behave on Black Friday, rushing to buy things that has price increases the month before and fighting people to get it, but people die. I get it. I hear what you're saying. I actually am very strategic. And so, we, like I said, we write down things that we need. Like we don't have to have it this very moment, but we do need these coming up. And then we usually look it up and say, okay, this is the price now. And then if that price is anywhere close to Black Friday, then we don't deal with it. But like for example, Menards by my house is selling a 38 pack. Yeah, 38 pack of Energizer batteries, AA or AAA for $7.99. Oh my God, $7.99. Batteries are expensive, so I'll be hitting up Menards. Those are the kind of deals that I live for. Rose says, hey, I had 39 out of 40 hatch, but they won't live. What am I doing wrong? I would highly recommend you check out our video, brooder practice. Most likely it's either a feed or a heat issue. It sounds like you're doing great on the hatch, but there's something missing in the brooder. Also, check out the video, Why Are My Quail Chicks Dying? Possibly you need to move the feed and water closer to the heat source, or have a stronger heat source. It would be hard for me to say exactly what it is without knowing all the information, but if you check those 2 videos out, which Ed, if you're still on, if you could post those 2 links, why are my chicks dying, and best practices for brooder, I believe, are the 2 video names. Those 2 videos should give you a lot of insight on what you could do differently. Zach, how many birds do you have at one time? I mean, on average? Well, right now we have more birds than we ever do. But that's because we have the old and the new still. I don't know. On average, probably 4,500 breeders and 1,500 grow outs at any given time. Right now dear God, right now we're at 6,800 in there, and we've got 6,800 in the main barn. We've got 2,000 in the brooder room. Yep, 2,000 in the brooder room, and then we've got, well, I don't know. Our GQF is full. The new incubator is full that holds 740 eggs. I don't remember what the GQF holds. I think that's I think it's double. I don't know. 120, so 240, 480, 489, yeah, like 1,400 plus the 700. That's 2,100. Yeah, 6,800 in the main barn right now. 2,000 in the brooder room, and 2,800 eggs in the incubator. And we're filling up the incubators at the end of the week again. So I've got a lot. Patty says, do you have a good recipe for deviled quail eggs? I don't. I'm not very good at it. There is a Facebook group called Quail in the Kitchen that you could check out, and I think there's a really good recipe on there. We have to get cops for crowd control now. That's only started in the last 5-ish or so years. Wasn't like that when I started. There you go. Mad Cow says, we didn't used to have Black Friday here, but now they have introduced Black Week, which is now with the best deals being on Friday. There you go. Steven says, I also boiled 100 eggs for Thanksgiving, and my third order is in Cincinnati on the way here. UPS, thanks for all of your encouragement. Well, good luck. I wish you all the best. And sounds like you're doing great. So very exciting. I've never tried that. You might be able to. You might. Christopher K says, how many people work on your farm? Me, my wife, and George. That's it. I mean, my kids help out a little bit, and Papa the Builder builds a lot of stuff. But no, it's a family thing. Matt Cow says you'll need like 500 eggs for 1 jar or something. You would be very surprised how fast those fill up, though, with quail eggs. Connie says, Zach, why would a quail make an egg call and not produce one? Why would a quail make an egg call and not produce one? I don't really know exactly what you mean by an egg call. I would have to have a lot more information and know what's going on. I wouldn't be able to answer that without knowing a lot more, unfortunately. I'm sorry. There you go. So Swanson says you can make mayonnaise with quail eggs. Didn't know that. Very cool. That's kind of cool. Rose says they are doing going as what? They need more heat than a heating pad. That would be the problem. They need a lot more heat than that, than what a heating pad can give you. Nishirama says, I have about 150 birds now, planning to make them 300, then stop since I don't have much room to have more. I like what you're doing, and I wish you all the best, and you're almost there. Friends do not ask friends how many quail they have. Oh, I don't have very many friends. A lot of people ask me that. Egabate says, what was the 2 videos you wanted posted? I don't remember. Why are my chicks dying? Or top 5 reasons. That's what it's called. Top 5 reasons for chick fatality is what it's called. And then I think if you just YouTube or type in the YouTube search bar best practices for brooder by Myshire Farm, my recent video will show up, and that would help a lot too. John says, oh, you're not talking to me. Thanks, Zach, for all your help. I'm getting there. There you go. And yeah, it sounds like you're doing great. So good luck. I think that was all the comments and questions tonight, everybody. So thank you very much. I was a little slow tonight, but I'm getting back into the hang of things. I will for sure feel fine by next week. I'm almost there now. So hopefully I'll sound better. We do have a good video coming out for you tomorrow, and that is reasons my quail are not laying. I think a lot of people will benefit from that. We gave you some ways to correct the issue or fix the issue. So make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to make sure you get that video tomorrow. If you haven't already, hit the like button on this video and help the channel grow. I'd greatly appreciate it. We do have a lot of good things coming your way, so stay tuned for that. The goal is to be posting 2 different videos a week plus the 2 lives, and we're still working on 2 major things for you for next year. One is done, but I'm not introducing it until next year. But the other 2 we are still working tirelessly on for you guys. So stay tuned for that. And I really do think it's going to help the community grow and help us all become better quail raisers. So everybody, thank you very, very much. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. I hope it's all happy and safe for you. Spend time with your loved ones. Enjoy each other. And thanks for being a part of the community. And until next time, everybody, as always, stay safe.